Good evening, after work stories. Let's see what book we have today. Shirley Chisholm. Oh, isn't this perfect for Women's History Month? Is a verb. The name Shirley Chisholm is a verb. And it was written by Veronica Chambers and illustrated. Pictures, the artwork is by Rochelle Baker. I want history to remember me, not as the first black woman to have made a bid for the presidency of the United States, but as a black woman who lived in the 20th century and who dared to be herself. Are you being yourself today, this evening? Wow. Who dared to be herself. I want to be remembered as a catalyst for change in America. Oh, this is going to be great. Let's be inspired by this woman, Shirley Chisholm. Shirley Chisholm was a doer, a force of action, a change maker. From her childhood in Barbados and Brooklyn to her time in Congress and campaign to become the Democratic nominee for president, Shirley lived life proudly, boldly, and in service to her community. Though she was often the first, she never wanted to be the only, and she worked diligently, hard, so that more women and people of color might also shake up the world of politics. Now, more than ever, it's time to Shirley Chisholm the country, to raise our voices, take charge, come on, and make waves. Readers will learn how Shirley used her verbs to make life better for everyone, and how they, too, can speak out and take action. Oh, that's interesting. Oh my goodness, I hope we can do it all in one sitting. Some words when they connect with the right people become almost like potions or spells. These words become magical. That's the way it was with Congresswoman Shirley Chisholm and verbs. She understood almost intuitively how and why verbs are not just words about being, but doing. Uh-oh. Verbs are words that move the world forward. Yes. Shirley's family understood all about moving. Her mother was from Barbados, an island in the Caribbean. Her father was from Guyana, a country in South America. They moved to New York City, where Shirley was born. When Shirley was 3, her mother sent her and her sisters to Barbados so that their parents could work more hours. Her mother cleaned houses and office buildings. Oh, I hope you all can hear this. Her mother was a hard worker. Her father worked in a factory. They worked all day and all night because they dreamed of buying a home for their family in the United States. Isn't that wonderful? They had tenacity. Look at that. One of my grandmothers did domestic work or cleaned houses, I believe, in the North Shore. Wasn't that my maternal grandmother? Yes. And then you see her father working in the factory. Yes, that's what a lot of our parents and grandparents and great-grandparents had to do. Great-great-grandparents. And they paved the way for so many opportunities for us today. So can we complain? No, it is up to us to take advantage of our 1440. That means the 24 hours, every moment we have, right? 24 times 60 is 1,440 minutes. All right, let's go, Shirley Chisholm. In Barbados, surrounded by her grandmother, aunts, and uncles, little Shirley worked hard too. Her classroom was noisy, and the 3 teachers that shared the room needed to project to be heard above all the passionate students. Yes, but her teachers taught Shirley how to speak up, and they helped her understand the power of words. Later, she would say, "If I speak and read and write easily, that early education is the cause." Did I say that right? If I speak and read and write easily, that early education is the cause. It seemed like that. There's more to it, but that's the sentence. If I speak and read and write easily, that early education is the cause. Okay. All right. Was the cause Okay, the calls, meaning calls as a noun. Okay, I got you. When she was 9, Shirley and her sisters moved back from Barbados to Brooklyn. Everything in Brooklyn was different, and Shirley missed the warm island weather. But Shirley loved indoor activities like going to the movies and reading. Shirley was a voracious reader, much like her papa, her father. That's good. I have a book club meeting in 15 minutes if you want to join. We're reading the story about leadership of Stacey Abrams, so let me know if you want to join. Shirley was also a dedicated student at her high school in Brooklyn. She was vice president of the Junior Arista Honor Society and graduated with a Medal of Excellence in French. She earned scholarships to both Vassar and Oberlin colleges, but her parents could not afford the room and board. Shirley decided to go to Brooklyn College instead and live at home in the brownstone. That's beautiful. Her parents were ultimately able to buy through their hard work. Now that is an accomplishment. That is truly an accomplishment to work. Excuse me. Look at that. That's right. You can't always plan, but still. Oh.
You can't always plan.
I'm sorry. I'm thinking about this music but the point is, you can't always plan, but her parents worked so diligently that they were able to purchase that. That is wonderful. And look how beautiful. That reminds me of the Cosby shows. Remember the brownstone, New York? Was it 2-flat they used to live in? Oh, that's so beautiful. So, with hard work and determination, you can do great things. All right. In college, Shirley decided to pursue a career in education. She became a nursery school teacher. I didn't know that. And then earned her master's degree. Completing her education was hard work, but it paid off. She did so much. She directed daycare centers and became a consultant to the city on early education. She helped implement and organize a program called Head Start. Shirley, which helped 3 and 4-year-olds get ready for kindergarten. Oh, we're familiar with that program. Remind me of some of my special pre-Ks that I've had the honor of watching grow up. But Shirley wanted to help even more people. She believed that service to others is the rent you pay for your room on earth, which is another way to say that she wanted to use her verbs and improve the lives of as many people as she could, just like her parents and her teachers had improved her own. Isn't that beautiful? She wanted to pay it forward because someone paid it in her life. She decided to go into politics. There are a lot of politicians local who started out in education. Brandon Johnson, Tony Preckwinkle, 4th Ward, Stacey King, so many. Oh. Well, she ran for and won a seat on the New York State Assembly. The Assembly makes decisions for people all over the state of New York. She was one of the first people to argue that the New York State literacy test not be conducted only in English. Oh, what? New York was home to people from all over the world, and Shirley thought it was important to honor the native languages of all the state's citizens. Of course. For her work in the New York State government, she was awarded a Salute to Women Doers Award. She was always a doer. Then Shirley ran for the United States Congress, the part of the government that makes decisions for people all over the country. It was a race few thought she could win, but Shirley believed if your heart told you it was the right thing to do, you should always listen. She knew she could only fail if she didn't try. Beautiful, beautiful. That's the truth. You can only fail if you don't put forth some effort. So do it. Just do it. She campaigned, meaning that she encouraged people to vote for her. Her slogan was unbought and unbossed. And this is back from 1968. Oh. She wanted the people to know that she would never choose money or power over what was important to them. She campaigned in both English and Spanish because she wanted as many people as possible to understand her message. In her speeches, she called herself Fighting Shirley Chisholm because she wanted voters to know she wasn't afraid to stand up for what she believed in. The people of Brooklyn chose Shirley to represent them. She became the first black woman ever elected to Congress. Isn't this wonderful? Beautiful. Shirley traveled to Washington, D.C. There wasn't a single person who looked like her. It was a lonely time, being the first, and often when you're the only one, yeah, sometimes it is lonely. But Shirley Chisholm wouldn't give up. She thought of all the people back in Brooklyn who had voted for her. Shirley felt forever linked to them. Isn't that beautiful? She had that connection, even though she ran through some hard times. Shirley's first assignment in Congress was the House Agriculture Committee, a group of people who oversee the farmlands of America. Look at this hard worker here. Shirley was disappointed. She came from a big city. How would working with farms help the people in Brooklyn who voted for her? Okay. She shared the question with her friend. He encouraged her to use her position on the committee to help feed the hungry all over, including her beloved Brooklyn. Shirley helped to initiate a program called WIC. Will you believe? First Head Start, now WIC. Oh my goodness. Which assists women, infants, and children in need of food. Shirley also helped create the National School Lunch Program. Oh my goodness, what a prodigious life. But she didn't decide the menus. So if you don't like your lunch, please don't blame her. All right. But she did so much. Oh my goodness. Because of her hard work, she eventually earned her dream job, helping students and workers through the Education and Labor Committee. Look at you. Shirley said, you don't make progress by standing on the sidelines, whimpering and complaining. She said, if they don't give you a seat at the table, bring a folding chair. Love it. And Shirley wasn't just concerned about getting a seat at the table for herself. She never wanted to be the one and the only. She helped create the Congressional Black Caucus. Oh my goodness. So more African Americans could be elected to serve in Washington, D.C. She wanted Congress to look like the America that had elected her. So Head Start, WIC, the Congressional Black Caucus, so much that she, the universal or lunch program, the reduce, oh my goodness. Not everyone in Washington applauded Shirley's win. She was always more interested in serving people than in making laws that helped big businesses. The men on Capitol Hill who cared more about power and money said, "Go home, Shirley Chisholm, you're doing too much." She replied, "I'm fighting Shirley Chisholm. You can't wish me away. You just can't." She remembered her impassioned teachers and her hard-working parents, and it gave her the spirit and the spunk to challenge the age-old traditions. She said, "I'm not afraid of anything or anybody." Go on, Shirley. What a trailblazer. Oh, look at this. Shirley, look at that. She's not playing. Shirley was so unafraid that in 1972, after 4 years in Congress, she decided to run for, yes, president before a large crowd of people and announced, "I stand before you today as a candidate for the presidency of the United States of America." She was the first black person and the first woman to make a serious bid for presidency. Isn't this wonderful? She said, "I am not the candidate for Black America, although I am black and proud. I am not the candidate of the women's movement of this country, although I am a woman and I am equally proud of that. I am the candidate of the people of America." Did your grandparents have a television like this, or great-great-grandchildren? Or great-great. Well, those are the great-great-grandchildren. probably of great-great-great-great grandparents. Anyway, the TV is from a long time ago. You remember it was 1972 when she ran. Shirley crisscrossed the nation giving speeches, debating candidates on television, and registering voters. She needed to convince the Democratic Party that she would be the best candidate for president. People had called Shirley Chisholm many things before, but now they said she was, oh, look at this, beautiful, bright, believable. Black, beautiful, brave, brainy, bright, believable. How about it? You better believe that. And no matter what color you are, you're the same. Brainy, beautiful, black. Even though you might be light, maybe white, doesn't matter. You're black gold. Some of the other candidates were angry that Shirley was taking votes away from them. But Shirley knew how to hold her ground. She said, "Excuse me, I have a right to be here. Pay attention. I've got something to say. Listen, I've got a job to do, and I intend to do it." When people tried to silence her, Shirley spoke louder. When the media ignored her, Shirley protested vigorously. When other politicians tried to bully her, Shirley stood stronger. When her opponents said hurtful things, Shirley smiled wider. Beautiful. Then Shirley heard that the Democrats had decided that she would not be their presidential candidate. Shirley was disappointed, but not discouraged. Shirley realized that just because she didn't win, it didn't mean that she lost. Love it! Just because you don't win does not mean that you lost. During her presidential bid, she had gained more delegates than many in the party expected. With each delegate that voted for her, she put a crack in the ceiling that separated women and men of color from the highest seat in the nation, the presidency. Look at that. Oh, look at you, girl. That beautiful dress. Oh, such grace and glamour and strength. Some races are relays. We only need to run as fast as we can. Shirley's verbs, her words, and her actions planted the seeds of possibility for others. Can we see all the future candidates? Right. And don't we see a bit of President Barack Obama and Michelle Obama and Kamala Harris in her? Can't you see that? Even Jesse Jackson ran before. Yeah, that dignity. It's in us. Well, 12 years later, Geraldine Ferraro would crack the ceiling further when she gained the Democratic nomination for vice president. 25 years after that, President Barack Obama would ascend all the way to the White House. Yes. 7 years later, Hillary Rodham Clinton will put 18 million more cracks in that ceiling when the Democrats nominated her for president. And then in 2018, a record-breaking 131 women were elected to Congress. It is a number that would have made Shirley beam. Part of the congressional class of 2018 was a young woman named Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Like Shirley, she was also known as a congresswoman from New York. Like Shirley, Alexandria did things her way, and she prioritized the people who had elected her and put their concerns first. Shirley Chisholm inspired her. On her first day in Congress, Alexandria said, from suffragettes to Shirley Chisholm, right? The suffrage movement to fight for the right to vote. I wouldn't be here if I wasn't for the mothers of the movement. She informed the people in Washington that in the spirit of Shirley, she was fighting Alexandria, and they couldn't just wish her away. They couldn't. Oh my. Uh-oh. Oh my goodness. Okay. Shirley Chisholm once said, the next time a woman of whatever color or a dark-skinned person of whatever sex aspires to be a president, the way should be a little smoother because I helped pave it. It was always her intention to throw the doors of government wide open, and she did. When Shirley retired from Congress after serving 7 consecutive terms in office, she said she wanted to be known for her courage to stand up for herself and the people who had elected her. She said, "I'd like them to say that Shirley Chisholm had guts." In 2015, President Barack Obama awarded Shirley Chisholm the Medal of Freedom. Shirley's great-nephew accepted the award on her behalf. Speaking of her service to the nation and how tireless she was in her quest, President Obama said, "There are people in our country's history who don't look left or right. They look straight ahead." Shirley Chisholm was one of those people. Hey! Isn't that wonderful? What a life of inspiration. I just said the word inspire. Shirley Chisholm accomplished so much because she chose her verbs carefully. Learn, negotiate, listen, stand, campaign, invite, debate, inspire, speak, represent. It's your turn now. What verbs will you choose? I think all of them. Inspire, learn, stand, speak, represent. It's very important to listen. Yeah. All right. Wow. Isn't this beautiful? I don't know if I have time to read the personal note from the author. No, let's see if we could do it. I don't think so. You know what? You're going to have to get this from the library to read the personal note. But Veronica Chambers, the author, she's the award-winning writer of so many books, including Mama's Girl and Celia Cruz. Born in Panama, she grew up in Brooklyn, where she remembers walking to school and seeing Shirley Chisholm for Congress posters all around her neighborhood. She has been a senior editor at New York Times Magazine, Newsweek, and Glamour. And Rachel Baker is a multidisciplinary artist from Detroit with a background in relief printing, illustration, and comic art, video art, and music. My goodness. The New York Times in a book, Making Our Way Home, The Great Migration and the Black American Dream. She participated in the production of that with her illustrations. All right. Well, remember, Shirley Chisholm is a verb. What verb are you going to choose this evening and to represent the rest of your life? So let's get busy. Do, be, contribute, and give. Have a good evening.